one of the things you mentioned was loneliness. And that's huge for me because Amarillo has been on and off very lonely at different points. And there's been ups, but there's been some really big downs for me. So I don't know if that's kind of where you're going because I know you're married. So is it a loneliness even though you're married, or was this a pre-marriage thing, or what are your thoughts there that you wanted to talk about?
I don't know. I think it's an interesting topic to talk about and something that like guys don't talk about that much. But there were some moments in my life where I was in a new situation where I hadn't built up that group of friends. And as somebody that tends a little bit introverted, I found it really challenging to get outside my shell. And I think I've learned a little bit as I've gone in terms of how to get out of some of those ruts, but it's definitely just challenging. And I found for myself that like joining organizations really helps. And I know there's some people like my wife that she'll go kicking and screaming in this any sort of organized way to meet friends, but it's really helped me. I have some examples from college where I walked into a room for a rocket club and knew no one, but just putting yourself in that situation and just starting a couple conversations. And then the nice thing as an introvert with organizations, like you usually have a project that you're forced to talk to other people about. And so you can avoid all the awkward small talk if you'd like to until later on. And so I don't know, it's a strategy that's worked for me a few different times. And it also, I feel like it's pretty rewarding. There's the time that I joined the Rocket Club and I got to learn how to build. It started out as a foot long rocket from scratch, and then we built like a 10-foot two-stage rocket, and that one didn't work so well, but we had a lot of fun learning how to build hands-on like that. And then recently, while I was up here in Minneapolis, one of my coworkers was involved in a Boy Scout troop, and I grew up in Scouts, and so I was pretty comfortable in that environment. And it turned out to be a really interesting way to help out the community and also just meet people. I met a number of like people that are our parents' age, to be honest, and it's more interesting because they have a completely different outlook on life. And I don't know, organizations allowed me to go outside my comfort zone. That's what I would say.
And something you said that I think is important with organizations that can help in those moments where it's frankly uncomfortable. I mean, I consider myself fairly extroverted, but I still going into situations knowing no one. I'm not somebody that's going to all the time just come up and talk your ear off. But with an organization, like you said, you've got a project or something that you're working on, or a lot of times you're at least going into something where there's that shared interest. And so that can just bring a level of comfort knowing there's a safe subject to talk about, or we're going to do an activity that I enjoy or I'm at least good at. That's where sports have always been good for me, like playing ultimate frisbee or playing volleyball.